famous for other reasons. Councillor Bowen has volunteered to act as deputy chair for the meeting, in making sure you'll get your chance to speak. And we need proposer and seconder. Councillor Weller and Councillor Bell. Thank you. And voting. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Can we now move on to apologies for absence? The recommendation is that members approve the apologies. Can you have a show of hands, please?
Just to what Chair, what are
the apologies?
We get one substitution, which
Thank
is
you.
Councillor Harris for Councillor Civil.
Thank you. Councillor Harris, Councillor Civil, which is why you've got me in the chair, not Councillor Civil. Okay, so those are the apologies. We need a proposer and seconder, apparently. Proposer, Councillor Harris, seconder, Councillor Furman. Can we vote? Thank you. Good. Right, declarations of interest. I've had none pre-notified. Would anybody like to raise the declaration of interest? I would like to say that I know a number of the applicants, but it's a non-pecuniary interest. So we'll come to that when we get to it. Is that all right? Good. Minutes of the last meeting. I trust you've all had a look at these and are happy with them. Can I have a proposal that we accept the minutes of the last meeting, please? Councillor Bell and Councillor Dickinson. Councillor Peter Dickinson.
Thank you.
It was the first hand I saw go up. Doesn't mean it was the first hand, but that's one I saw go up. So, can we vote on that? Thank you.
That is unanimous.
Thank you very much. Good. Councillor questions. Does anybody have any questions? We've received none in advance. So that's good. Thank you. We have no public questions. No, very silent person at the back. Okay, thank you. Moving on then to the grant applications, which I guess is going to be the major interest of today, apart from the necessary process that we've got to go through. Thank you. So if we can put up behind me on the agenda, the first item, you can see on this that we've got a number of applications which together will effectively spend the budget that we have remaining should we approve them all. And you can see they range from £1,000 to £4,998, which is just under the maximum. So I suggest we take these in order. And would anybody like to make any comments on As One Theatre? Councillor Bell.
Thank you. So As One Theatre have had grants to us before. I think most recently it was March. That was for the VE Day Voices. So we are fully aware of them. We've supported them in the past. However, I do have a few questions and queries over this one, which has led to me being not overly supportive of it at this stage, unless I hear otherwise. Because they've allowed 2,000 and something pounds for development, but viewing their website and looking at previous productions, it appears they've put on a two-man Christmas Carol relatively recently, which was, they've got it on their website as December 23 and 24. So I'm not entirely sure where the £2,000 of taxpayers' money would be going in terms of development. I know Ian has kindly sent through documents previously about how that is to be used, and I don't know if that can appear up on screen. You got the breakdown of the development money. There's also, just while Ian's getting that up on screen, there's also a query around whether we're edging towards funding their running costs due to the frequency of application. Not necessarily prohibitive, but just something I wanted to raise with regards to this one. If my eyes are failing me.
If we look at the production costs, you can see that the dominant costs on the production costs relate to paying for the duties of a, there we go, development costs, paying for the duties of a producer, a director. Let's make the screen slightly smaller. There we go. Act 1 and Act 2. So that's 1,450. And if you look in the next batch of costs, you can see that production and performance costs also pay for Act 1 and Act 2.
Yeah.
Questions? Sorry, were you finished?
Yeah.
Councillor Furman.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with Councillor Bell on this. I think this is straying into running costs. This is a company organisation that have come back year upon year, not just March, that it's a number of years they've come back. And I feel it's somewhat becoming outside the spirit of the grant, which we've always talked about. And myself and Councillor Dickinson always talk about, the kit for the football team or something to that effect, which is a capital spend, which doesn't necessarily pay wages in that respect. And you're right to point that out, Councillor Nordham, in terms of those breakdowns of actors' payments. I mean, development, I don't, that is production and performance. I think there's some grey areas there that we're not quite getting clarity on. So for me, I'm not inclined to support this one. We've supported them year upon year upon year, and I think we're getting into a position where we're just paying for a production every year, which is not the business of the town council.
Thank you. Councillor Weller, you did have your hand
I
up.
did have my hand up, but given what everybody else is saying, I won't want to speak.
Councillor Dickinson, Peter.
I don't want to repeat what the two previous or three previous candidates, but we had problems with this last year.
Yeah.
And we were concerned that we were paying wages. And I think this is what we're doing. And as Councillor Furman said, this isn't like to buy some strobe lighting or to something that would enhance their show. This is paying professional actors. So I'm afraid I won't be supporting it.
Right, thank you. Shall we go to a vote? So do we have a proposer? Thank you, Councillor Furman.
So I propose that we do not support this application.
Right, so the proposal is not to not support. Those in favour of not supporting, please.
Seconder.
Seconder, Councillor O'Leary. And those in favour of not supporting, please indicate. Right, unanimous, thank you. So the reasons: running costs, not capital funding, and third, overpaid wages. Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to the second one of this batch of 7, which is Christmas Cool production. And do we have any? Oh, it's blinded. Sorry. We can pull up the application form that was attached at Appendix B. So, are you presenting these in summary? I forgot to give you that opportunity.
No, Chair, I was just going to say that, if there's any particular ones which members don't wish to support, we
So this-
down and then take the other ones on block.
So this is Clear Horizons that have written in. They're asking for £4,920. They mention the 30k national lottery funding. So would anybody like to speak on this? And they're providing what I can't read my writing, arts, craft and well-being activities. Councillor Furman.
Yeah, just to get us going. So I've met with this organisation before, very good organisation, do a lot of stuff locally for many vulnerable groups. Much though in the same vein as we've talked about previously, this is officially, I've written in my notes, outsourcing project to community professionals. So, it doesn't differentiate itself too widely away from what we've just talked about. So I don't want to sort of support this for those reasons and the others for not. These are two separate projects. I don't believe that they've requested money from us before, and I'm interested more so down, if you could scroll down to point 6. This seems like it is a the only thing I didn't understand, because the project total And this came to me like near 6 months ago, so my name is on it, but so it's got the £5,000 there, but it's got the £30,000 there. I'm not sure our grant system operates in a way that we can see how that 30,000 is spent.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because I'd like to know what our impact would have been on that 4,920 to see what we could do, but we can't see that.
So
But based on from what they've said in the application, it does seem that we're paying wages or paying for professionals. But I'm open to us discussing, you know, because they're not repeat kind of applicants, how this sort of stands in our remit as a council that we provide.
thank you, councillor Furman. Councillor Weller, please.
In the same vein, really, we've got a tutor's cost there, which is £1,200. And that, to my mind, is wages. You know, art and craft materials, that's a capital expense that will be used up this time as part and parcel. We can't say we'll pay this, but we won't pay that. If they put in another application, we might look at it again, but I don't like the idea. I don't want us to be setting a precedent of we're paying the wages for events, because that doesn't fulfil our full remit, to my thinking. Although
Thank
they
you.
do great work.
Yes, thank you. Councillor Furman, would you like to come back in?
Yeah, sorry, members, just to add, to sort of keep that momentum going from councillor Weller, it is within our gift to allocate an amount of money rather than the full, is it? I just want to, no, sorry, that's more of a question to.
And would you, councillor Ian, please?
I think before I think the president will be set before us to ask people to resubmit an application, because without that, we don't know whether they could use what was assessed over them.
Right.
It would work for them. So I think we've had times before where we sort of said, we'll give you it for this, but that's not what they want. So
Yeah.
really, we need them to come back with a separate.
Yeah, and I know that we've looked at I know previously before the grant forms were redone, we had like a percentage of, you know, if your organisation was doing something for a percentage of Weymouth residents, we would give them that percentage, wouldn't we? So I'm just thinking out loud that, you know, we give them the things for capital spend and not for, you know, as tutor rates, as you said, you know, for the arts and craft materials. Yeah, okay.
Okay, councillor Dickinson again.
Again, I agree with what's been said up to now, but you've got £720 on administrative costs, which includes marketing the events, ordering and buying of any material. Then you come down to art and craft materials. They want £1,700 for all materials. So they're asking. To me, that's like a double whammy for them. They're asking for printing and marketing, and if you go up, it says administrative costs equals marketing the events. So it's like twice.
And it's got higher, sorry to interrupt you, but it's got higher of space twice there as well.
Yeah. So I'm sort of happy if they just wanted a couple of £1,000 to put these events on, but paying wages, doubling up on the money they want for events and that, to me, it's otherwise if it's the full 4, no, I won't vote for it, I'm afraid.
Okay, councillor Harris, please.
Can I propose that we ask them to resubmit along the lines that we've actually been discussing here tonight, but that we apply to them anyway.
May I come in a little bit? That this is again, I think, aimed at trying to remember whether this is also aimed at a pre-Christmas event. Can anybody remind me?
6 months.
Or was it for 6 months work going forward?
6 months.
6 months. Okay, in that case, then it doesn't, there's not a risk in delaying it from that point of view. My alternative was to suggest that we delegate the officers to go back on the basis of a reduced grant and see whether it's viable, but if you prefer, I'll take the proposal as stated. Would you like to say it again, David?
That we ask them to resubmit, taking into account the points that have been made at this evening's meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, they consider they consider resubmitting because they may not want to.
Yeah. Okay, so we've had a proposal and a seconder. Shall we move to a vote? All those in favour of the proposal? Thank you.
That is 9.
Is that unanimous? No. Any against? Right, and any abstentions? So 9. Right. Item 3 was NCI Portland Bill. Oh, sorry, when we do go to them, could we ask them the question of what is the 30k being spent on and what proportion is being spent on Weymouth? Yeah. Okay, sorry, I meant to add that bit. So moving on to item 3, NCI Portland Bill, submitted for just under £5,000 for CCTV provision for additional surveillance around our coastline. Councillor Thurman.
So quite simple on this one. This is a Portland project, so therefore falls out of the remit of Weymouth Town Council. I understand there is some service benefits from it, but it's a project based at Portland, so I don't think we can accept it as an application. I'm not sure how it was accepted as an application because it shouldn't have been, from what I read on it.
Is that the, who looked at this application from an officer's point of view?
I think it comes before us, Chair, just to add that transparency that if applicants know that that's why it's being considered. But for the reasons you're saying, does it fit within the remit of a community group? If you decide not, then it won't go for it.
So I read it as being for additional CCTV with more coverage. It wasn't clear coverage of Portland or the Weymouth coast. But yes, Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, it's my understanding, I may be incorrect, that NCI Portlandville is the main sort of NCI hub. And then there's one up on Binkleys. So I'm not sure if that would therefore be spent on the Binkley site and it's just put under the name of NCI because that's the mothership as it were. I'm not sure if that might be the case in that regard, perhaps.
Yeah.
Therefore, if it was Binkleys, it would benefit Weymouth quite clearly and would be within Weymouth.
Yeah, could I ask the officer to pull, sorry, Ian, to pull up the additional funding that they've got, because it's not costing just under £5,000, it's costing a much bigger number.
Yeah,
So just pull that up, and that money is coming from does it say so? Oh, paid by NCIPB. So they're paying some of it, so they're asking for no additional funding.
Should go up, there is a
Yeah.
mention of.
Yeah, it talks about bolstering
you know, talks about their.
coverage in
Yeah,
Weymouth Bay,
yeah,
but also Lyme Bay.
yeah,
So,
The sea.
but
it does.
Weymouth
more
and,
generally, doesn't it?
well, okay. Apart from Chesilbank getting in the way, we do have a coastline with Lyme Bay that we look on, even if we can't walk directly to it. My view is that this is a project for Weymouth and that would benefit Weymouth. Councillor Weller.
Sorry, I'm just wondering, again, on a resubmission, just asking whether they have approached Lyme and Portland, because it would be nice to think that we're all contributing. Portland Port are contributing a huge amount. I don't have any objections to contributing towards this because we do benefit. But I think that Portland benefit and Lyme do as well. Indeed, so does West Bay. Have they submitted to Bridport Town Council? Have they submitted to Lyme Town Council? It would be nice to know.
Right. We seem to be getting to a view here. Would somebody like to capture that in a proposal? Okay, I'd like to then propose that we ask them to clarify who will benefit and what other sources they've gone to and why they've just come to us. And from what we perceive, it's not directly benefiting the immediate Weymouth neighbour, but we're happy to hear otherwise. I think, and ask them to resubmit.
David, if I may, I wouldn't say not benefiting us, but it
It
certainly
is.
is. But it's not only benefiting
Okay.
us.
I just, I mean, Chair, just, I think some clarification, because they say here that it's for an additional single unit, which they identified in conjunction with Weymouth Fire and Health. Maybe the clarification may need
That's
to
the
be,
clarification.
to be where that is actually situated.
Yes,
But,
yeah.
this time you would just go for a single CCT unit.
I think, Ian, you've almost written the proposal now. The proposal is that we go back to them and clarify that this unit will be located and benefit Weymouth residents.
But that other councils in the neighbourhood will also be approached. And
I
have
don't
also
think we need to say that, because we're only worried about how we're spending our five, okay? Yeah, sorry, I was speaking too much.
Thank you, Chair. I would in fact then say, because we are ahead of the kind of winter season, is rather than come back to the next tranche of runs, is be able to action officers that if this is for the Weymouth hardware that they require, that without reading too much into the room, I think if we knew this was for Weymouth,
Yeah.
I think there'd be cross support for it. So therefore, could we give officers authority to be able to get that confirmation, and if it is for Weymouth and it is hardware that directly and only benefits us, then we can action it.
I like that, so got a seconder for that? Thank you, councillor Weller.
To it,
Yeah.
being confirmed that it.
Yes.
So are we clear what we're voting on?
Yep.
Good, let's vote. Thank you.
That is.
Councillor Harris?
It does say it is mostly for Weymouth people
Yeah.
and in it anyway.
Yeah. Okay,
You
so that's gone to Harris's, thank you. Number 4 is the Weymouth Drama Club, and looking for £1,000 to support their activities.
Well, Waterside Weymouth Community Forum.
Community forum.
Oh, I missed that bit out, did I? Apologies.
D before you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one out. I got these in the wrong order. Yes, the Waterside Weymouth Community Forum. I had that down as number 7 for some reason. They're looking for £5,000 for Operation Youth Christmas. And that's £5,000 out of a total of 6,000. Councillor Furman.
My passion is grants. So I very much support this application. I will just make a note for public record that this organisation comes back year on year, and we don't want to find ourselves as a sort of running cost float again. I have no doubt that the intentions and the rollout of this project are great. I just want us to be aware of that year on year. We don't want to be thought about, oh, you know, it's Weymouth Council, we'll do this project because we know we're going to get 5,000 from it. But really happy for other members to kind of give thought to that and process.
Any other comments from Councillor Weller?
So the only comment is that I understand what you're saying, but they are always different projects.
They are, yeah. agree.
And they're very often kick-starting
Yeah.
an ongoing project afterwards.
Yeah.
It is an area that needs all the support it can get from us, really. And so I'm very happy with this.
Right, Councillor Bell.
I was just gonna add, you looked at the breakdown of what the money is gonna be spent on. It's not going on wages or salaries or any of that. It's £2,000 for food and drink at Christmas time. It's 2,200 for deliveries, travel support, that sort of thing. Wrapping.
Yeah.
I think this falls into a slightly different area. I'm very happy to support it.
Would you like to propose it?
Go on then.
So Councillor Bell is proposing we accept this, Councillor O'Leary is seconding, shall we move to a vote? Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Weymouth Drama Club, I missed that. It's out of order, yeah. Weymouth Drama Club only looking for £1,000. And that £1,000 is to go on Remind me.
The virtual door and
This is at Rylands Lane, is that right?
No,
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 I've got the wrong one.
this is Hope Square.
Hope Square, right. Refurbishing a door. Councillor Bell.
Just linking it to all the conversations that have gone on, this is a one-off expenditure that allows
Yeah.
buildings to be used better. It's gonna be more enjoyable for visitors, the crowd visiting the shows and also the performers. It's a one-off, it serves a very good purpose, it's gonna make the area look better as well. I fully support it.
Councillor Thurman, are you proposing this?
I'm gonna propose, I just will say,
Okay.
just before, there was a note within the application about quotes. That we do ask for several quotes, so I think just, if we could be more supportive of those groups that are not able to bring in those quotes and make sure that we are getting those from our applicants, because I think I noted in the paper that they kind of struggled to get the 3 quotes that we kind of recommend, and we do need to make sure they come in just for transparency. But otherwise, it's a great A1
Yeah.
type of grant that we should be giving out.
Question.
Yeah, just a query really for Ian. I know when we've had sort of heritage projects, Jubilee clock, that sort of thing. Is there still an expectation of 3 quotes when it's very specialist work? Yeah, I just wanted clarity, that was all.
Okay. So, did we have a proposal?
We had a proposal from councillor Bell, I will second that.
Okay. You got that one? Okay. Would you like to indicate in favour of the proposal? It's unanimous, thank you. Item 6, I have down as Weymouth South Scout Group. Yeah. And this is various fire safety issues. Okay, anybody like to talk about this? Councillor Weller?
Only, it's in my ward, I know it well, the hall is well used every day. And it's certainly in need of upgrading. They do a lot of fundraising. These are all capital expenditures, and given that, they've got a huge waiting list of young people who want to join the Scouts, it's a very, very worthwhile cause. So I would like to propose it.
You'd like to propose it? Would you like to speak or would you like to?
And I would like to second in support of the application and a former cub that used to be based out of that, and a beaver. I think this again, pardon?
They invented beavers when you were that age.
They had.
I just didn't realise they were
But I think that.
quite so young.
Thanks. But I think carrying on from councillor of my youth, is that this is again exactly the kind of thing that we should be spending taxpayers' money on in support of our communities.
It's not a former chairman of Littlemore Scout Group, it's just the sort of thing that I would have been looking for. Former chairman. Have you heard that before?
Having worked with Tracy Winder when she was part of the West
LMS.
Group, I would totally support her in this application.
Yeah, okay, so.
Someone who has no connection.
Got
I was too working hard.
Get your goggles out.
But one of the rest of you, please, propose, because I've just realised that I'm honorary president.
Go on, Louis, propose it.
Councillor Leary proposing,
I will say.
Councillor Firman seconding. Let's vote on this one. Thank you. That's good, guys. Thank you. That was unanimous. Number 7 is another scout group, the Weymouth West Air Scout.
Did they have planes anymore? Oh, there's a lot of air balloons.
What are they?
Zeppelins.
And they're looking after a defibrillator, which shows they're quite an old scout group, I guess.
Well, they're very close to 98 sheltered bungalows,
Okay,
so they've got quite an elderly population there.
so anybody like to talk on this one? Yes, Councillor Bell,
Can I point out as well, young people have cardiac
you
events.
can and you should.
Very much need to be covering that as well. So just wanted to point that out. There is a function across the age ranges to support the community. Very supportive of this one. They're letting there straight away.
Councillor Dickinson.
Just so long as that they're aware that there is ongoing running costs of a defibrillator. And people also, buy a defibrillator and they don't realise the pads are dated, this is dated, that's dated. Just so long as they're aware, it doesn't just stick on a wall and stay there forever.
Just picking up on that point, if I may, Chair. I was going to add that we should probably have a caveat that we get confirmation that the liability and the maintenance, they understand the responsibilities rather than just putting up. Obviously, there is that ongoing responsibility.
That is great, Adam.
And there are groups that you can contact who will train you on the use of this equipment.
The deputy, DC Deputy Commissioner, trains throughout South West on resuscitation and so on, so they've got that all in house.
Right, excellent. So we need to vote on this one as well.
I would like to speak on it, please, Chair.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so this is from my ward, and I'm not overly supporting. For these reasons. I do not believe that the application is up to date. I've spoken to my co-councillor in the ward, and I think because there is a certain amount of money that Westham Community Group have, I don't believe that for something specific to Westham, we should be paying for it across the town when other funds are available. I've not yet seen an application to Weymouth, to Westham Community Group for funds, which I do believe should be spent in Westham, and they continue to accrue. And I'm not of the belief that the rest of Weymouth should pay for this. I would like, I think, on the advice of my co-councillor, is to have this application brought back to us, because I don't believe it's up to date based on information.
Would anybody like to speak on that?
If that were the case, I would like to see them consider having us purchase the capital asset, but Westham Community Group allocating so much a year towards its upkeep.
Something like that. I would love to see our community groups work with other, with this group to bring it as a more fuller application to the community, because it's very specific. It's not going to serve anybody in Litmore or Radpole.
Okay, and Councillor Weller.
Can we ask in that case that the applicant has conversation with their Westham councillors and resubmits following that conversation?
Are we happy that that's a proposal?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councillor Harris. And would we like to vote on that proposal? Thank you. Good. So that completes the 7 of the normal grants, and we now have 2 additional grants. Yes.
So just very quickly, members, these come towards you following a decision made over a year ago that £10,000 can be set aside for CE grants. They do go to the chair and vice chair of the CE group before they come here, so that they can confirm that they fall within the OC strategy, which they have done. The reason they still come here is because they at CE group haven't worked with the authority to actually approve the grants. So just that background is why they're here. But they have gone to CE chair and vice chair who support them.
I'd like to declare that I am a member of the Friends of Castle Cove and have supported their funding. Our first application is from Castle Cove, but I received no pecuniary benefit from that. I do think that if it weren't for them keeping the steps open, we'd have a public beach with little public access. So I think it's very valuable work. But anyway, somebody else should comment on this. Who would like to comment on this? Councillor Furman.
So you'd like to say my name, then. Ian, may I ask, in respect of the CEE grant policy, do we have any restrictions on running costs or anything like that?
I think it was originally done, put up so that there's twofold, that it enhances the environment for which these people work within. Whether that's building work, which is I think is the second one, or alternative work, but it has to fit in with our own views or age ambitions of our own CE strategy. So I don't know if Councillor Harris would like to.
I think and all other aspects of the grant are having the same rules as we apply to the ones we've just looked at. So that we are looking at whether it is for capital, we don't pay salaries and all those sorts of things are all part of the scrutiny that we make of any group, any application that comes our way.
Yeah, I was just for members and officers' clarity, I was looking at the provide and maintain, you know, when that word maintain comes up, I think running costs. And also it talks about the cleaning of testing equipment, which is a running cost as well, because that will always have to be done. I'm not actually that precious about saying no to it though, in that respect, because I do think that this is a strong application and one that, you know, is worthy.
Yeah.
And it does not come within paying wages, most importantly.
Okay, I'm just like to comment that I think those costs fall into the costs of doing maintenance and repair. It's not including the cost of paying somebody at that
Right.
sort of value.
Okay,
I would say
Yes.
it's volunteers that support this, and I think it's an excellent group. And what we mustn't forget is that it's also one of Weymouth's potential 49 local green spaces that comes through with the neighbourhood plan, and it would be sad if we couldn't access it through these steps. So
not like you to mention the neighbourhood plan.
I thought I'd get it into now. So,
Next.
any more comments on this one? Are we happy to, who's going to propose it?
I'm happy to support.
Thank you. Okay, Weller is proposing. So I'm going to Kristen. Seconder. Councillor O'Leary. Those in favour? Thank you. Whoosh. Next one, Mike Regis Horticultural Society have submitted an application to refurbish a hut. Insulating their building. Okay. So would you like to speak?
I did support the grant. I am a member of White Horticultural Society. The clubhouse has been there an awfully long time. It is very old. It is incredibly cold. And consequently, they're paying quite a lot of money on heating. The application will show that they do have an income. They sell things themselves. So they do have an income, but it is an income that really only covers their running costs and so on. They're not a profit making organisation as such. It doesn't just serve Wyke, it serves the whole of the town. Members live throughout the town. It's been going for time. A very good organisation.
Okay, would anybody else like to speak? Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, Councillor Nickington, I know attended an event here recently and, well, I'd never been myself, she was going, before this grant went in, was talking about the great work they do down there and how long they've been around, but this is exactly something that we want to support. So I'm very happy to support.
So we've got a proposal, and I'll have a second up. Can we vote then, please, if there's nobody else? Thank you. Right, that's unanimous again. Thank you very much. So we now get to the exciting bit, which is the finance monitoring. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. I will keep this relatively brief. This is the Q2 financial monitoring report. The main headlines for this is we are again, as we sort of predicted from the first quarter, going to have an underspend, which is primarily due to the vacancies which we are holding and carrying, and also the benefit which we are getting from our investments at the moment, which we have the higher interest rates, which is good. So we can't budget for those because we never know where the interests are, but we do get the benefit when interest rates are high. So we are predicting that underspend. which will be considered at an appropriate time to try and align it to the priorities of the council. And we'll probably start having a look at some of that work next week when we have the budget sessions. Not that we can allocate it next week, but we can in principle sort of identify some of the priorities that the council might want us to going forwards and then recognise it when we get to the end of the year. One of the major things just to note, which is different from the previous quarter, is we have had the pay award now, which was 3.2% across the board. Thankfully, that came below the estimate, which we always try and do so that we don't have to find other money. So that is a good thing in terms of our financial planning. So that's positive. As always, this committee is normally here to advise on any corrective action for any overspends primarily, but because there isn't any, we don't really need to agree any corrective action at this stage, but just to note the report and recommend it to the council.
Could I have a proposal? Oh, sorry, anybody like to comment on that or anybody like to propose? Happy to propose that we accept the recommendation. And a seconder, thank you. Let us now vote then, please. Thank you. That's unanimous. Number 8, tick.
This one you thought we couldn't get any more exciting shares.
It's the debt chair, Lisa.
So, appointment of internal auditors, we need to do this on an annual basis. Members may recall last year, those with a good memory, that our previous internal auditor retired at the end of the last financial year. So we've had to look for new ones. These were the company that was recommended from our old internal auditor, and we had to look to see what other provisions we could get. But these are by far the most experienced. They do a number of councils around the country, including Salisbury. So they are experienced in auditing large towns and parishes, which is essential for us. Some of the other ones which we have looked at haven't had that experience. So we need to confirm that they're independent, they are qualified, and there's no conflict of interest, which we have done. They will all carry out the work in terms of the engagement letter, which we include confidentially because it's got terms of reference in there, which is why it's not a public document. So we recommend that we actually use Mulberry Local Authority Services for this financial year, trying to take our internal audit services. And we're just asking that finance governance can just formally agree that. And we will recommend to full council.
Right, I think we should move forward and formally agree. Would somebody like to propose it? Thank you, Councillor Bell. Seconded by Councillor Taylor. Ian? Thank you very much. Voting.
That's unanimous.
So item 10 is information items. Would you like to take us through these?
So very briefly, Chair, we are progressing as you expect with the work on this town hall. We've appointed surveyors to come in and carry out that work. We will report back once they're done, expecting them this month. No actions to note outstanding, and then it's just a forward plan, Chair, quite a hefty environmental services. And because they're information items, we're just asking members note these.
Are members happy to note? Just nod. Thank you very much. Good, we'll move on to item 11. Could I have somebody to propose that we exclude all the members of the public and press with one exception?
Just to confirm, Chair, that for the people who are watching, that we are proposing this because of the kind of nature in terms of the
Thank you for pointing that out. So we have a proposer, Councillor Weller, seconder, Councillor Bell. Can we now do this formally? Thank you. Okay, thank you. We can now turn off the, thank you everybody who's been listening to this exciting meeting.
Embarrass me, Dad.
That's a force.
So